especially as populations in developed countries like ours grow increasingly obese. And there is an epidemic of obesity in the United States. And lastly, a better understanding of health-promoting dietary chemicals and how they interact with common genetic variation in the human population will empower individuals to achieve and manage optimal health and wellness. And that's one of the objectives of the Center of Excellence for Nutritional Genomics. So some questions that you need to be thinking about this quarter and hopefully the rest of your career in biology or in the social sciences. One, what genetic variants, and we'll just call them SNPs, are keeping us from deriving the full benefit of our nutrition? What does that mean? I had lunch and I only got 50% of the value out of it. Matter of fact, the 50% that I lost may have had all of those bioactive compounds that I needed to prevent disease. Number two, what genetic variants are we carrying in our genome that over time and in response to foods we eat will increase our risk of disease? Are we carrying a little genetic time bomb that over the next 30 or 40 years of your life, in response to either overconsumption or malnutrition, is going to put you at high risk for cancer or certain types of chronic diseases? What adjustments can we make in our diets now that will compensate for these diet-related genetic variants so that we can achieve and enjoy optimal health earlier and maintain it longer? Dr. Bruce Ames likes to say that the interesting thing about Americans is that they're not afraid to die, that just Americans all want to die healthy. Yes, what we want to do is to enjoy optimal health earlier and maintain it longer. How can we assess the changing nutritional needs of an individual from birth through death, given the available molecular and genetic technologies? We are a moving target. Your physiology was different when you were born than it is now, and it will be different when you're 60 years old. And so we have to assess those nutritional needs throughout that whole window we call our lifespan. How do we ensure that nutritional genomic information is used in a socially responsible manner, particularly as it relates to health disparities in subpopulations such as ethnic, racial minorities, the poor, and the uninsured? So those are some of the things that you need to be thinking about. Hopefully we'll talk about some of these in the class. So the last thing I just want to mention before I stop is that when I first got involved in health disparities research, it was I had read an article talking about the rate at which African Americans were recommended for transplants. So they said that African Americans with end-stage renal failure, cardiovascular disease, and kidney failure were half as frequently referred for transplants as whites. And those who were referred, half of those actually received transplants. Now, at the end of the article, they said that this disparity was due to a lack of rapport. So the challenge for us and for you is, what is rapport? Is rapport an explanation, or is rapport an excuse? If rapport is the explanation, what is rapport? Can we break it down into its component parts? Can we deconvolute rapport? Can we study it, reassemble it, and teach people so that we don't have these huge health disparities that we see sitting in the doctor's office? And not only this study was done with African Americans, but I am sure that the same thing happens with Latinos. The same thing happens with East Indian, Pakistani, Asians. You will probably find the same thing. Sometimes it involves culture, sometimes it involves language, but hopefully with Dr. Tervalon's guidance, we'll sort of deconvolute that process and we'll learn. Thank you very much.